Good afternoon, learners. Today we will take up the last block, that is block 6, and basically the discussion is about transnationalism, about the issues of nation states and transnational identity, which is a very complex phenomena. Because whenever we talk about identity formation, itself is a complex process. But in case of these diasporic Indians, the complex is actually multiple, and we will be that would be a major aspect of our discussion today. And apart from that, we will also be looking into the next two units, that is about again subnational identities among the diaspora, apart from national identity, that is the regional identity, which at times becomes more important than national identity. And then at the same time, we will be talking about in the last part of the session on a few issues of globalization, nationalism, and transnational community. So, basically, the recent changes that you see in today's world is mostly because of globalization, because the kind of identity construction that we are talking about, which is a major crisis, and at the same time it comes as a new kind of a reawakening for this diaspora community. You will see that these diaspora community, they have been you know away since a very long time. When I have been talking about two different forms of diaspora: the old diasporic community and the new diasporic community. So the old diasporic ones, who were a part of the indentured labor systems that started during the 19th century, when Britishers were in search of manual laborers who could work in the plantation sites of Caribbean islands, Fiji, or basically these were related to agriculture. But the second generation, that is the new diaspora was about the highly skilled professionals, be it in terms of doctors, software engineers, or academicians, scientists. So you will find two different categories of diaspora community, and these two different categories, they relate differently to this idea of India. When you talk about the old diaspora, for them, basically when they started off, they were an illiterate group. And yesterday we were actually discussing about what do you say? We were discussing about some of the features of this old diaspora community. That is, they were a part of this colonial indentured labor system. And when we started talking about these diasporic writings, it took them several generations to be literate. And at the same time, today we have so many emerging diasporic writers, people like Noyapar, people like Salman Rushdie or Jhumpa Lahiri. So they are about, they are the diasporic writers who have existed on the interface of being a part of both the societies, and who carried those historical memories with them. Today, when the government tries to, take account of its diasporic community, it is mostly, it tries to target the new diaspora, who are recent, and we mostly refer to them as the NRIs, and the old diaspora as the PYOs. So when I'm trying to talk about identity among this new diaspora community, you will see that there has been an intervention on the part of the state as well, because you know we already have discussed some of the political crisis that came up during the Nehruvian era, be it in East Africa or countries like Burma, countries like Fiji, where the old diaspora community could not be supported in their perception because the state couldn't do enough to, please mute your microphones. The state couldn't actually do enough to protect them, and that's the reason the connections were not that very rejuvenated during those period of time. But will you please mute your microphones? So please mute your microphone. Itisri Maharana, please mute your microphone. Yeah, thank you. So today I'll be talking about, how we started, reconnecting with these diaspora, especially when you're talking about the new diaspora, you know, which was of recent development. And in that context, we will see that connectivity has been rekindled and rejuvenated during the phase of globalization. It is actually, after globalization could set its wing that we started talking about these new kind of developments. So, if you see, you will see that all those, you know, the very idea of globalization is all about creating a single global society. There is this concept that global village, the concept of global village, where we believe that everything has been reduced to a point. Everything can be addressed as a single society. The reason being that there is you know so much of interconnectivity in terms of economic, political, social, and cultural realms. So that's the reason we believe that globalization has altogether created a new forum for us, and here the transnational community, you know, has been the very idea of identity among the transnational community has been reshaped. If you look at this process of globalization, you will see that there is so much of exchange in terms of not only material terms but cultural, social, in terms of ideas. That scholars like Arjuna Padurai, who talks about, I have already mentioned, he talks about different scapes, technoscapes, idioscapes, mediascapes, financescapes. So he is basically talking about different forms of exchange, how globalization has actually, created a platform for exchange in terms of ideas, in terms of people, in terms of finance, in terms of images, and in terms of what do you say, uh, in terms of various other cultural forms. So most of these processes that we talk about when we are referring to globalization, there are plural in nature, and plural in nature. The reason being that uh, it tries to support societies, both the home society and the host societies as far as the diaspora is concerned. And this phenomena, it gives you a platform and an economic space where there is immense scope for internationalization of capital, along with it provides the avenues for an expansion of a capitalistic market. So we today we believe in an ideology of consumption. So think about the years prior to the age of liberalization in India. The best way to look at them is through advertisements. You will see that. advertisements provided some of the ideas of the pre-globalized and the post-globalized era. If you compare the advertisements of the 80s with the post-90s and the contemporary advertisement, you will see that consumption today has become an ideology. The previous year's advertisements, that focus was on, the Nehruvian idea of thrift economy. Anything सस्ता सुंदर मजबूत एमतिया जिनस चलेबो कोटा सस्ता कोटा सुंदर और कोटा मजबूत सो टेक फॉर एग्जांपल लाइफ बॉय साबुन रो पूर्वर एडवर्टाइजमेंट आज के एडवर्टाइजमेंट रे से माने बेसी प्रमोट करछन्ती द आइडिया ऑफ हाइजीन केमती जर्म्स बेसी मरुछन्ती इट्स अबाउट मेंटेनिंग ए गुड हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल फोकस इज नॉट ऑन मनी so there is a marked change after 99 after 90s we actually made a shift from this you know thriftiness कि हमें पूरा हाथ चिपी के रखिथिलु because we believed in a thrift economy हमर गांधीयन आइडियोलॉजी भी सही प्रकार थिला जे बेसी खर्च करबनी तम नीड्स कम रखिबो but the ideology that globalization has promoted it says that you consume consumer is the king consumption is actually freedom you know you're feeling depressed you're not happy today go shopping ku jao ko restaurant par jaake khao you will feel better consumption has become a way of life and it's a new kind of an ideology which we have taken up and it is because of the recent globalization phase and there is immense flow of capital across regions and across political boundaries you will see that this process in turn has you know created enough avenues not only for movement of capital but also for creating networks for work relations ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଟାଇମ ତମକୁ କହୁଥିଲି କି ଯେ ଥମସ ଫ୍ରିଡମାନଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ବହିଟା world is flat it actually talks about that how America and India they are sharing the work life and creating opportunities for each other ଆମର opportunity ଦରକାର work opportunity ଦରକାର unemployment ଥିଲା that provided us work and ଆମେ exactly ସେଇ ଟାଇମ ରାତିରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ ଶୋଇକି ଉଠିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଆମେ କାମଟା କରିକି ରଖି ଦଉଛେ ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ BPOs business processing outsource ଯୋଉ ହଉଛି ସେଟା ଦେଖିବା that is possible because ଆମେ exactly 12 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଆଗୁଆ ଅଛୁ ଆମେରିକା ତାଙ୍କର ରାତି ହେଲା ବେଳକୁ exactly ଆମର 12 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଆଗରେ ସକାଳେ ଆମେ ଅଛୁ so that is the thing so today we have started creating networks ki kiye ei kamata kari paribo ko batre more ei kamata hei paribo and so what I'm trying to say that globalization it's not only just an an economic phase it has restructured our lives in many ways in social political and cultural ways so you will see that today enough scope has been created because of networking or networking which has been facilitated because of this technology this global technology the very idea of work from home. Now I'm taking classes sitting here. You are having your classes sitting at your homes. You don't have to come to the study center, neither I have to. Similarly, a client in America for whom I am working right here in India and I'm just getting my work done. Age of networking, age of network connection, it has been facilitated because of this so-called knowledge industry. So this new technology that has come up in this age of globalization and transnationalism has become the trait of the present day globalized society so what is transnationalism transnationalism is defined as the process by which immigrants build social fields that link together their country of origin and their country of settlement even transnationalism concept ଗୋଟେ broader way ରେ ବି ଆମେ ଦେଖି ପାରିବା ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି କି ଯେ ମତେ suppose ଜଣେ ପଚାରିବେ ଯେ where do you work I would say कि I'm working for an American company ମୁଁ directly ମୋ boss को report करूची who is sitting in Washington DC and I am working from my home this is actually the transnational concept of work the very idea of work has been redefined in the present times there is a visiting of the old concepts that we were discussing earlier so when we talk about migrants today we call them trans migrants I mean khali migrants They are trans migrants because their allegiance is not rooted in a particular country, but they are always in a continuous move. ଆଜି ମୋର ଏଇଠି କାମ କାଲି ମୋର ସେଇଠି କାମ ମୁଁ ଏଇଠି ରହିଲି ସେଇଠି ରହିଲି ଗୋଟେ globally my workplace is a global phenomena ମୁଁ globally ବୁଲୁଛି my mobility is global because ମୁଁ entire Southeast Asia ର head head office ଗୁଡାକ ମୁଁ ସବୁ ସମ୍ଭାଳୁଛି ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଇଣ୍ଡୋନେସିଆରେ କାଲି ମାଲେସିଆରେ ପରଦିନ ନ୍ୟୁ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀରେ ଏମିତି ମୋର ଚାଲିଛି work life ଟା so it is not just about work when I talk about transnationalism has a different connotation altogether. For example, you will see that when we are talking about the diaspora as such, transnationalism has become an important aspect of their lives because I was talking to you last class that whenever you talk about families, now transnationals they have a transnational family. The idea of family being living in a single house, living having a common kitchen, that thing has been fractured. So when I'm talking about work, it has taken the dimension of transnational nature. My family is transnational, my kinship system is transnational. And if you be quite, true to yourself, you will see that how much time do you spend on a transnational platform regularly. For example, I will tell you that you know the time that you spend on internet with Facebook or WhatsApp, if I ask you to take account of it ନା ତମାନେ କହିପାର ଯେ ସେମିତି କଣ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ରେଗୁଲାରଲି କରୁଛୁ କେତେବେଳେ କଣ ଆଖି ପଡି ଯାଉଛି ଟିକେ ଇଏ କରିଦଉଛି ବଟ୍ ଆଖିଟା ବହୁତ ଭେରି ଅଫନ୍ ଏଟା ପଡୁଛି ଏବେ ଦ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଇଜ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଫ୍ ୟୁ ଟେକ୍ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ କି ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ମୁଁ ଫେସବୁକରେ କେତେ ସମୟ ହେଲା ଏନଗେଜ ଥିଲି ମେ ବି ଏବେ 30 minutes ଯଦି ଏଣ୍ଟାର ଶୋଇଲା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଆଇ ୱିଲ୍ ଜଷ୍ଟ make an account of the times I have spent with my books, with my mobile. ମୁଁ ଏହା କହୁନି ଯେ ମୋବାଇଲ ଧରୁଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ it's a bad thing because when you say that the time I have spent with my mobile, it could be for a class also. It could be for this class also. This class last for 2 hours. So apart from that, ମୁଁ ଆହୁରି କେତେ time ବି spend କରୁଛି. So average 4 to 5 hours ତ ହଉଥିବ ଅତି କମରେ because this internet age has actually made all these aspects of my life transnational. So that's the reason we live in a different phase of life which is different from our parents, which is different from the generation of our grandparents. So when you talk about this transnational migrants, this diaspora community, for them this idea of transnationalism, this connectivity has been rekindled with globalization. So they have rather rediscovered themselves after globalization. Because prior to globalization, they used to have this feeling ki, "Haan, mo India I belong to India. I originally belong to India, but ଏବେ ତ for the next 3-4 generations ମୁଁ ରହିଯାଇଛି my forefathers were those people from this indentured labor system and ଏଇଠି ଆମେ settle କରିଦେଇଛୁ we are now doing well ତେଣୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ କହିଲେ just it would come as a footnote in one's discussion because ଆଉ ସେ connectivity ଟା ନଥିଲା ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ସହିତ it never existed and ମୁଁ କହିଲି କି ଯେ ସେ ଟାଇମର ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ବି ଏମିତିଆ ହେଇଥିଲା ଯେ Indian state could not stand for these PIOs in their perception. It couldn't do much. But today things are changing because yesterday, we discussed the cultural aspects like Hindi movies, like diaspora writings. Diaspora writings, they are such a big hit in India as well. Globally, they are such a big hit. So when you say that ଯେତେବେଳେ Indians ମାନେ କୋଉ Trinidadian ର ବହି ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ଯାହାର କି four fathers India ରୁ ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି how does that person's perception of India ଯେ କି ତା ପାଦ ଦିଟା ଜାଗାରେ ରଖିଛି କି ତିନିଟା ଜାଗାରେ ରଖିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଟରଫେସ ରେ ସେ ଇଷ୍ଟ ର ବି ୱେଷ୍ଟ ର ବି at the same time ମତେ କହିବି କି ଯେ ହଁ ମୁଁ ମୁଁ ହଉଛି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ସେ ବି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ କହୁଛି ନିଜକୁ but that idea of Indianness is different from the idea of Indianness that you talk about or you feel for. एथिरे हम कहूनी कि कोटा बेटर कोटा खराब कोटा भलो नो, that doesn't exist, it's just that different. The way you relate to this country and the way they relate to this country, there is a big difference in that. So this idea of relating to this nation, it has actually, it has been rejuvenated after globalization. And Cohen argues that today the diaspora, they emerge with a strong sense of, ethnic consciousness all over the world. মানে okay, as Indians, so जो feeling of being Indian, जोटा कि मे बी भूली जाइथिले कि for some point of time they didn't want to identify because चारि पांच जनरेशन हे गलानी. For the recent NRIs it's a different thing. जो माने किछि वर्ष होला just first generation कि second generation एबे अछंती, for them connectivity टा एबे भी अछि. किंतु just think about the PIUs जो माने कि 19th century 1800 something to जाई कि सेठी बसी गलेनी. तांको पे आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया टा नथिला. Somewhere distant, somewhere, it got disconnected rather. If I would have to say it very straight, in a straightforward way. But today things have been changed because of globalization. And we have this ethnic consciousness that there is this, that we belong to this place, we relate to it. We may not have the citizenship of India, but somewhere, जो हिंदी सिनेमा रा जो डायलॉग की फिर भी धिले हिंदुस्तानी से जो जिनसटा, so that is re-emerging and that is actually creating a kind of consciousness. Talk about Hindi movies, Indian dresses, Indian jewelry, ଗୋଟେ इंडियन फेस्टिवल हेले टुडे यू हैव ट्रांसनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो माने कि पूरा लहंगा चोली साड़ी पिंधी की दे try to enjoy themselves with all kinds of Indian food, which is a craze over there. And that is how, and this consciousness that is on a rise post globalization, and it is same for all Indians across the world. Globally jete prakar Indians achanti, jouthi bhi achanti, nuwa diaspora ho ki purana diaspora ho, there is a rise. That's what is, scholars have identified today. Talking about the Indian diasporic community in Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Mediterranean shores, they maintain extensive kinship and economic networks. Africa रे हेले कि साउथ ईस्ट एशिया रे तमे देखिबो कि जे से माने सब बेले ओटे किनशिप सिस्टम टा मेंटेन करि आछंती, बिकॉज़ स्पेशली अफ्रीकन सोसाइटी रे जो माने भी रहिथिले, since they never maintained, intermingled their identity with African society, they always had a kind of a kinship relationship. कि अच्छा ये हमार cousin है बे, ये distant cousin है बे, कि तांकर ये अच्छी, कि मो पो पे आज जे वो झियोटे देखियार अच्छी, मो फोन करके इंडिया रे कहबी कि जे these are the requirements, केबे आसी हबो गां को, कि या करबी मो गां पे या करबी. ए जो कनेक्शन टा ए सब जगह रे always थिला. When you talk about the Indian diaspora community itself, it's such a, you know vast and such a multi-layered thing. माने मु diaspora community कहले, it's not one ethnic identity. Now, ethnic identity again has different layers. Ethnicity comes with your religion, it can come with your language, it can come with your caste group, it can come with your territory, it can come with your physical features, then co reason पछे आम कहदबा कि पूरा नॉर्थ ईस्ट तांको भितर बहुत डिफरेंस अछि. When you say कि साउथ इंडियंस, Telugus are not Tamils or Kannadas or Malayalis, they are all different from each other. किंतु साउथ कह देले we have a perception of a particular ethnicity कि हां साउथ रे एमती हुए. साउथ बोला का पे सेमती नॉर्थ का इंडिया माने एनीथिंग अबव Tamil Nadu, sorry, above Andhra Pradesh is North India. So east west our differentiation हुए, that construction is not there. Similarly, northeast, जो सातटा states अछंती, they have their own indigenous culture, they have their own indigenous what you say customs, but we take it as a whole region wise कि गोटे one ethnicity. जेतले हम इंडिया भितर एते गोटे ethnicity अछि, just think about the diaspora community that is displaced there and they have relocated themselves. So India कहले it is not one thing. So it's very difficult for foreigners who are actually, who have to deal with Indians. as to what kind of people they are. And we have actually particular last class we were talking about stereotypification. I mean, they call the बात कि हाँ Japanese and Chinese they are very hard working. जब तम boss कोटे Japanese की Chinese है पूरा खटे खटे मार देवे से माने. We have these perceptions towards certain ethnicities. So now Indian manaka पे जो perception हमर अछि, you will see that that's actually a very complicated thing. तेणु जेतेले मो Indian कहूची, को Indian कथा हम कहूची. What kind of Indian am I talking about? I mean that Indian is an Punjabi, is a Gujarati, is a Tamilian, South India भी Tamilian, Telugu or a Kannada or a Malayali. What kind of Indian? And again, what language do you speak? Everybody doesn't speak Hindi, everybody doesn't speak Tamil. Then South रे दीटा dominant language अछि, Punjabi and Tamil, because they are the most dominant communities there. ତା ବାଦେ caste affinities. ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ डायस्पोरा कम्युनिटीज भी देखुଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଦେଖିଥିବେ ଯେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ସପୋଜ ମୁଁ କହିବି ଓଡିଆ सोसाइटी ତା ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ सोसाइटी ଥିବ ଗୋଟେ କରଣ सोसाइटी ଥିବ they will be having their own ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଖଣ୍ଡାୟତ सोसाइटी ଥିବ they will be having their own ideas of caste. Dalit society which is going very strong these days at the level of diaspora. Similarly territoriality को लेके similarly ମୁଁ କହିବି ଗୋଟେ ईस्ट इंडिया रो ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ କହୁଛେ ना बेंगली अछंती आसामीज अछंती आ ओडिया अछंती सेही ट्रांसनेशनल कम्युनिटी. So it got a multi-layered identity ର କଥା ପଡୁଛି. As such I told you that identity is a very complex thing. ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ କହିବି କି ଯେ identity ମାନେ କଣ, who you are, suppose who you are, that's one of the most difficult questions to answer. When you say that okay this is my name, what can you say? Suppose I put this question to you, you will talk about your name, you will talk about your education qualification, you will say that you are so and so's son, you belong to this is your native place. ଆମେ identity ରେ ଏଇ ସବୁ କଥା कहू. ତାମାନେ ତମେ ଦେଖ ମୋର ରିଲେସ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ମୋ ନାଁ କହୁଛି, ମୋ ବାପାଙ୍କ ନାଁ କହୁଛି, କୋଉଠି ନା କୋଉଠି ମୁଁ ମୋର ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ନେମ୍ ଟା ଆଣୁଛି, ମୁଁ ମୋର କାଷ୍ଟ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଟା ଆଣୁଛି. ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୋ ଗାଁ ନାଁ କହୁଛି ସେଥିରେ ବି ଗୋଟେ କାଷ୍ଟ ଟା ଇନହେରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇକି ଲୁଚିକି ରହୁଛି. ବିକଜ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏଇ ଜାଗାର ଏଇ ରିଜନ ରେ ଏଇ କାଷ୍ଟ ର ଲୋକ ବେଶୀ ଥାନ୍ତି. We have a perception. ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି କଥା କହୁଛି ବହୁତ ବଡ କଥା ଏଇଟା. ତେଣୁ the language that ଆଚ୍ଛା ତମେ ଓଡିଶା ओडिया लैंग्वेज कहउथबो, सो यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट योर लिंग्विस्टिक आइडेंटिटी. जेतरे बापा ना निज ना कहउछ तमे कि तम गां ना कहउछ तमे सेतरको तमरो कास्ट आइडेंटिटी तमरो टेरिटोरियल आइडेंटिटी विषय कहउछ. जेतेबेले ए सब थ्रू गोटे जणा पडुछि जे अच्छा हिंदू कम्युनिटी तमरो रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी विषय भी तमे ये कर दउछ. तनो ए जो वेरियस मल्टी लेयर्ड फॉर्म्स ऑफ आइडेंटिटी रहुछि जोटा कि it doesn't belong to one ethnicity, and it is very difficult on the parts of the foreigners to understand that, and also for the next generation, the third or fourth generation of migrants or diaspora Indians. And if you look at ethnicity, you will see that in the context of religion, Hinduism provides a strong base for rootedness in India. And Hinduism is actually one of the most dominant and strong, what you say, forms of ethnic religion across the globe. Because Indians कहले लोक for a very long period of time Hindus ବୋଲି ଭାବନ୍ତି. Even Sikhism ର भी Hinduism संगे बहुत they are interrelated, ମାନେ बहुत similarities ରହିଛି. ତେଣୁ they all, you will see that 85% of people of Indian origin and NRIs, they are actually considered to be Hindus across the globe. And जोटा कहली कि जे सेकंड आइडेंटिटी आपण मानकर कास्ट, जेमति आमे काली डिस्कस करते जे किछटा सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस अछि जोटा कि नेटवर्किंग करंती ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कास्ट आइडेंटिटी. सो दलित मानकु नै कि से मानकर दलित ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस करछथि जोथरे अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड माने इंडिया रो दलित, नेपाल रो दलित, साउथ एशिया रो दलित मानकु नै कि से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कि सपोज तेलुगु माने कहले खाली कम्मा कास्ट मानकर गोटे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. suppose ओडिया माने कहले कि नहीं हमें खाली खंडात मानकर organization. So this caste is diverse and localized. Suppose ମୁଁ କହିବି कि जे कर्ण का ओडिसा रे जेमति कर्ण सेमति बेंगल रे कायस्थ आउ कोठी सेमति माने कर्ण आठ पार कोण हेई पारे समस्त को मु नै कि गोटे फॉर्मेशन करी तेनु whenever I am talking about caste is diverse, caste is localized, तार नाटा बदल जाय थाई पारे I will try to accommodate all these things तेनु सेटा आउट टू फॉर्म ऑफ आइडेंटिटी रो कथा language of the region, that is also an identity marker कि तमे को भाषा कहउछ तमे ए मराठी कहउछ तमे वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स रो तमे ताले ए माने देखि कि तमरो हाय हेलो रु गोटे मनीषा गोटे परसेप्शन बनै दउची जे व्हाट यू आर तेनु से जो व्हाट यू आर इज एक्चुअली a very difficult question to answer and at times you might be also putting this question to you. This question is not only meant for outsiders but at the same time you have to keep answering yourself what I am कोन करछु mo life रे mo eta pare कोन करिवि ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଏଇଟା ହିଁ ପାଇଲେ ସେ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ଫର ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଗୋଟେ ଜବ ଭଲ ଜବ କରିବା ଦରକାର ମୁଁ ଏଇ ପ୍ରକାର କାମ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ମୁଁ ଏଇ ପ୍ରକାର ଚାକିରି କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ଦ ରିଜନ ବିଇଂ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଏଇ ସବୁରୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତେଣୁ what I'm trying to say that transnational community ବି ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଫର୍ମେସନ ଟା again ଗୋଟେ multi layered ଜିନିଷ it's even more difficult. So, when you talk about the impact of globalization process, you will see that this diasporic Indian community, they have certain qualities of resilience and continuity. You know, resilience because suppose when there is a strong wave of change, जोठी जेतेबेले suppose मैं कहबी कि जे ईस्ट अफ्रीका रे किंवा वेस्ट इंडीज रे there was a wave of change कि तमाने निजको इंटीग्रेट करती they could they could withstand that न पर कि पड़ेला कि ये कला कि isolated हे गला they had their own ways and continuity भी किछटा जिंस हमें assimilate करिचे किछटा छाड़ीचे किछटा रखिचे so in fragments they all coexist. And it's not that, when I'm talking about a diasporic community, ସେମାନେ ଖାଲି ଗୋଟେ ଯୋଉ country ରେ ଯାଇକି settle କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଯୋଉ host society ର traits they try to take up or they try to completely assimilate with them. It's not that they're trying to only take up the dominant what do you say culture or traits of the host society. You will also see कि diaspora society जोठी की जाए तारा भी गोटे influence छाड़ी दिए. So that's the reason today you will see that curry has become a national food for the British people as well. केते जण हमें few decades ago. Suppose when I was in my school days, I never heard of pasta. I never heard of pizza. Burger was केते बहुत डेरी रे हमें burger सुनले. Pizza, pasta, these were very new things for us. But recently, maybe over the last 25 years, we get to hear this. That's again ଗୋଟେ nationality ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ପାସ୍ତା କଥା କହୁଛି ମୁଁ କହୁଛି କି जो okay we acknowledge it to the Italians maybe Italy रे भी एते पास्ता खाउनांती आमे जेते खाउछे the thing is that it's all the result of globalization ତେଣୁ କେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ local elements जोटा कि global phenomena को पहुंच जाउची that is also a part of globalization कि take for example Chinese feng shui जेमती कि तमरो लाफिंग बुद्धा हैला विंड चैम्प हैला घर घर रो कमोडिटी that has become today so that is again गोटे छोटा छोटा देश मे भी हमें कहबानी कि जे माने केमती चाइनीज इन्फ्लुएंस एठी पड़ला इट्स अ रिजल्ट ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन नाउ एई मानको केस रे कोन होची देयर इज अ स्ट्रांग डायस्पोरा प्रेजेंस तेनो एई सब एलिमेंट्स रहउची तांकर के नीड रहउची तेनो इंडियन स्टोर्स मिले रहिची सेठी इंडियन स्टोर्स रे पूरा इंडियन आइटम सब मिलेबो जोटा कि because their food habit or their culinary habits रोसे परिवार habits भी अलगा हमठार तेनो you wherever there are Indians you will find these changes there and जोटी second or third generation of migrants ko katha पढ़िछि, you see that their anxiety is even much more than the previous generation. ମୁଁ କହିଲି କି ଯେ first of all ଏ जो multiple identity କଥା पढ़िछि, it's such a confusing thing. ମାନେ this person, suppose a boy or a girl of your age who is from Trinidad or Tobago, whose forefathers came from India as a part of the indentured labor system. See, ଏବେ fifth ki sixth generation ହେଇ ସାରିଲାଣି. So he doesn't have any idea of India, but ଯାହା ବି ସେ ଶୁଣି ଆସିଛି, ଯାହା ବି ଦେଖି ଆସିଛି କି ଆଚ୍ଛା ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ତାର ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ସେଠିକା society କଥା କହୁଛି, ସେ ଦେଖୁଛି ଯେ ହଁ there is just they are Christian, ଯଦି religion କଥା କହିଲା, please mute your microphone. Because whenever you talk about a particular religion, they will say that okay, we have been following Protestantism or Catholicism. But when it comes to India, अच्छा Hinduism, Hinduism रे पुणी मोर एई कास्ट, पुणी मु होची एई हिंदू, मु सेथरु वैष्णव हिंदू, कि जणे जदी कहूची कि अच्छा मु बेंगली, बेंगली हेले पुणी ईस्ट बेंगल ना वेस्ट बेंगल, because east और west bengal रो पुणी food habits it's so very different. The language is so very different, and apart from that there are so many other indicators. So this multiple identity system is such a confusing thing for us also. Somebody who has been born and brought up there and who is just trying to locate himself, because it is about locating your own identity. When I say that, tell me something about yourself, ଆମେ ଆମ surname କହିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଆମ caste identity ଦେଇ ଦଉଛେ, ଆମେ ଆମ ଗାଁ କହିଲା ବେଳକୁ somewhere ଆମ family background ଆମର ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏଇ reason ମାନେ mostly ଏଇ ପ୍ରକାର ଲୋକ ହେଇଥିବେ, ଏଇ ସେ ଲୋକମାନେ ଏଇଆ କରନ୍ତି, ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ଦେଇ ଦଉଛି, ଗୋଟେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ, ଗୋଟେ socio cultural dynamics ଗୋଟେ ଜଣେଇ ଦଉଛି. ତେଣୁ similarly it's a very difficult thing for them. And for this generation, the younger generation of this diaspora community, you think it is I told you that they actually they are surviving a form of a dual resistance. कौन ना, they are a part of an immigrant society to the natives. ତାଙ୍କର ପୂର୍ବଜ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ପାଠ ସେମାନେ ପଢି ନଥିଲେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ମାନଙ୍କୁ they have to go to schools and colleges, and what they see around them is people who are not like them. They're the natives. ସେମାନେ either from the black community ହେଇଥିବେ ନହେଲେ Europeans ହେଇଥିବେ, जो अलगा सोसाइटी रे, होस्ट सोसाइटी रे when they are putting up. So they stand out as Indians. जेमती I told you about stereotypes, जेमती पाकिस्तानी को पाकिस बोली कहउचंती, इंडियंस मानो को अच्छा कलकत्ता पुलिस बोली कहा जाउची. So they stand out as Indians. So fighting that stereotype, जे I am not a typical Indian. Every time that person has to prove this कि अच्छा मूवी I would मो इच्छा थाउ कि न थाउ, I would like to date this person because मो इंडियन नुहे, मो एमिति नाइट क्लब्स को जेपी, मो सब मोर गोरा सांग माने जाउछंती, मु जदी तांको भलिया ड्रेस न पिंधिबी, and if my parents are insisting me, because घरे भी गोटे प्रेशर रही छी, अच्छा सपोज झियो पिलाटा तू कोन एते छोट ड्रेस पिंधुछु, एटे इंडियन झियो कि तू कोन एमती करछु, तेनो एठी गोटे डुअल प्रेशर रहिला. आइदर माने ना मु इंडियन हेई पारुची, ना मु इमिग्रेंट, माने मु गोटे तांकर नेटिव तांको भलिया हेई पारुची. सो मोटे सैंडविच हे जाईची, तांको भलिया होबा पे चाहूची, एपटु भी प्रेशर रहउची, सेपटु भी प्रेशर रहउची. So that is the thing, as I told you ki there are multiple identities, multiple forms of identity, and at the same time there are pressures from both these communities कि मु इंडियन हेबी कि मु वेस्टर्नर हेबी, मोर इच्छा जदि भी अछि मु पूरा मिसी जेबी मोर सेई जो नेटिव जो मानकर मोर मु जो सोसाइटी रे जाई कि सेटल करिछि, people at my home, my own people, they will not allow me. They will say no, 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 we are Indians, we have certain values. ଆମର ମିଡିଲ କ୍ଲାସ ଝିଅ ମାନେ ସେମିତି ପିନ୍ଧନ୍ତିନି କି ସେମିତି ଯାଆନ୍ତିନି, ତୁ କଣ ଏଇଠି ଆସିକି ରହିଲୁ ବୋଲି ତୁ କଣ ଭୁଲିଗଲୁ କି ତୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ, ତୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଭଳିଆ ଖାଇବୁ, ତାଙ୍କ ଭଳିଆ ଇଏ କରିବୁ, ତୋର ଆକ୍ସେଣ୍ଟ ଆସିଗଲା ବୋଲି କଣ ତୋର ସବୁ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଗଲା, ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷଟା. Survival for them is extremely difficult because there are layers and layers and layers of identity construction, and at each stage they have to negotiate. अच्छा ମୁଁ कोनटा चाहूची, ମୁଁ कोटा रखिबी आ कोटा छाड़ीबी, I will take this up or I will leave this. So and at the same time सबुबले एटा गोटे थिला गोटे concern, and some of these people अपन माने ए सब crisis हिंदी सिनेमा रे भी देखि पारुथिबे suppose the movies like I think what was that one? Namaste London, where this movie by Katrina Kaif and Akshay Kumar. Katrina Kaif believes that she is an English woman, even though her parents are NRIs. The reason being ସେ କହୁଛି ଯେ ମୁଁ ତ ଏଠିକାର citizen, ମୁଁ ତ ଏଠିକାର ଗୋରା ଲୋକଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ବଢିଛି, ମୁଁ Queen of England ର anthem ଗାଇକି ବଢିଛି, and there is nothing Indian about it. But parents are extremely traditional, ଆଉ ବାପା ଜବରଦସ୍ତି ଚାହୁଁଛି ଯେ ସେ ଝିଅଟା ବାହା ହେଇଯାଉ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ. But the girl has a typical allergy for Indians. ତାକୁ ଲାଗୁଛି Indians are backward, Indians are ଏମିତି ସେମିତି. So she has a perception of India. So how does she negotiate? ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଏମିତି ବି moments ଆସୁଛି ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି western society ରେ ସେ ଯେତେ ବି ନିଜକୁ westernized କରୁ, people give pinch up that okay ଯେତେ ହେଲେ ବି ତମମାନେ Indians, ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷଟା ତେଣୁ it's again a matter of political identity. ସେ କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ଏଠିକାର citizen, ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି ତମେ ସିନା ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ବିକଜ ତମେ ସେଇଠୁ ଆସିଛ, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ ତ ଏଠିକାର ସିଟିଜେନ, ମୁଁ ତ ଏଇଠି ଜନ୍ମ ହେଲି, ତେଣୁ ମୋର ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ହଉଛି ବ୍ରିଟନ. ସୋ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଦେଖିଲେ ଯେ ବାଇ 2000 I think 2005 and 6 implement ହେଲା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ idea of dual citizenship when the BJP government was in power. ତେଣୁ ସେଇଠି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ dual citizenship ବି ମିଳିଗଲା ତାକୁ, ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୋ ପାଖେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆର ବି ସିଟିଜେନସିପ ଅଛି ଆଉ ମୋ ପାଖେ ଟ୍ରିନିଡାଡର ବି ସିଟିଜେନସିପ ଅଛି, then again ସେ ଯୋଉ ମଲ୍ଟି ଲେୟର୍ଡ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ସନ କୁ ସେଟା ଆହୁରି କନଫ୍ୟୁଜିଂ. ହଠାତ୍ ମାନେ ମୁଁ କଣ କହିବି ସିଟିଜେନସିପ ତମର କାହାର, ହଁ ଦିଟା ଯାକର ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ କହିଦଉଛି ପିପଲ ୱିଲ ନଟ୍ ଟେକ୍ ମି ସିରିୟସଲି. ସପୋଜ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେଇ ସୋସାଇଟିରେ ଥିବି ତାହେଲେ କହିବି ଲୋକ ଯା ତୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ପଳା, ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ କଣ କହିବି, that is again a form of confusion to me. ତେଣୁ that is that was one of the major problems that the diaspora community faces in terms of identity, because identity itself is a complex issue, because এটা নিজ personal identity কথা কইলি, but when you talk about a group identity ସବୁବେଳେ normally ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ particular community ର ଗୋଟେ particular identity stereotypical formation of identity ହେଇଯାଏ. suppose ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିବି କିଛି ଅଛି ପଞ୍ଜାବୀ କହିଲେ ତମମାନେ କଣ ବୁଝ, what is the identity of a Punjabi community, what would you say? We will basically go by the popular representation जोटा कि सिनेमा रे हमें देखुचे. आ पंजाबी माने पूरा दिलदारिया लोक, से माने बहुत मजा करंती, they are all fun loving people, से माने बहुत खांती पियंती, because that is the only idea of Punjab that you have received through movies, through certain characters and through certain cinematic narratives. Not that ସମସ୍ତେ fun loving ହେଇଥିବେ କି, not that they don't have any anxiety, ସେମାନେ ଖାଲି ହି ହି ହେଇକି ସବୁବେଳେ ହସୁଥିବେ. ଯେମିତି କି ଆମର typical South Indian representations ଅଛି of by the North Indians कि अच्छा आइयो लगे देले कि आइयो लगे देले जहाँ भी कह देले South Indian भाषा ହେଇଗଲା, so we make fun of them. Similarly Bengali को नेकी सबू ये को नेकी community को नेकी there is a typical representation, and this community, the diaspora community, they are actually fighting both ways. The representations जोटा कि इंडियन मान एमती बोली भाभी देछन लोक माने कि अच्छा इंडियंस कहले जितने कि इमिग्रेंट सब जाक इंडियंस आउ से माने इलीगली बहुत लोग आस्थांती. इंडियंस दे आर एक्चुअली ओवर स्मार्ट, से माने दे आर नेवर क्लीन, से माने बहुत जिंस एक्चुअली ठकामी रे पके देबे पूरा एया थांती से या थांती गोटे परसेप्शन थाए. तेनो they have to deal with that identity perception. जो सोसाइटी रे इंडियंस को नेकी एमती खराब परसेप्शन, सेठिकार लोक दे विल डिजोन कि ना ना मु इंडियन नुहे, लुचेया को चेष्टा करिवि, मु जेते जल्दी मोर एक्सेंट ता जदी तांको भलिया हेइ गला, मो ओरिजिन विषय रे जेते लुचेय देइ पारिबि सेते भलो. दरकार पड़ले मु आउ कोन कहि देबि, जदी मो स्किन टा कलर होते जणा पडुनी, मे बी आई विल नॉट accept the fact that I'm an Indian or a South Asian. So ଏଠି ତାପରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ନେସନ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ସ କଥା କହୁଛେ, normally ଗୋଟେ debate ଚାଲେ ଯେ nation states in the context of diaspora, that actually the idea of a nation state gets loose. মানে nationality कथा कहबी ग्लोबलाइजेशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट रे nationality टा नेशन स्टेट रो बॉर्डर्स गुडा को टिके ढीला पड़ी जाए এটা বিভিন্ন কারণରୁ এই ଯୋଉ ডিবেট ইমার্জ କରିଛି ପ୍ରଥମ କାରଣ ହଉଛି ଲୋକ କୁହନ୍ତି ଯେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ structural adjustment program 1991 ର accept କଲୁ we also had to accept the terms and conditions of these international organizations like these World Bank and IMF World Bank ଯଦି କହୁଛି କି ଯେ ଏତିକି ଋଣ ଦିଆଯିବ ଏତିକି ସବସିଡି ଦିଆଯିବ ମୁଁ ସେଇଟା କରିବି ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଯଦି ଭାବୁଛି ନାଇଁ ଏଇ ସିଚୁଏସନ ରେ ଏଇଟା ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା ଏଇ ସୋସାଇଟିରେ ନର୍ମାଲି ଏଇଆ ହୁଏ ସେଠି ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ବି ତା ହାତ ବନ୍ଧା ହେଇଯାଇଛି ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ମେଜର ଇମ୍ପାକ୍ଟ ରହୁଛି ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆଟ୍ ଦ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଟାଇମ୍ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲ ଆକ୍ଟର ରହୁଛି ଯେମିତି କହିଲି କି ମଲ୍ଟିନ୍ୟାସନାଲ କମ୍ପାନିଜ କାଲିକି ଯଦି ଏବେ ମୁଁ କହିବି କି ଯେ କୋକା କୋଲାରେ ଏବେ କୋକା କୋଲା କମ୍ପାନୀରେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ अराउंड 40-50 हजार लोक काम करुछंती एतिकी एफडीआईस मिलिछि एतिकी रेवेन्यूज जनरेट होछि जदि मु कोका कोला काली की कहबो कि मते एतिकी लैंड लीज रे दियो कि तमे यदि एटा करबनी मो स्टेट रु विथड्रॉ कर देबी विथड्रॉ कर देले मोर के डर रहउछि एज ए नेशनल स्टेट की ମୋ ଲୋକଙ୍କର କ୍ଷତି ହବ ଆମ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ରେଭିନ୍ୟୁ ପଳେଇବ ଚାକିରି ପଳେଇବ we will losing out on certain revenues ତେଣୁ that's the reason ଆମେ କହୁଛେ କି ଯେ ନେସନ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଟାକୁ ଏବେ ପଚାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି and at the same time ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି କି ଯେ ହଁ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସନାସନାଲ କନସେପ୍ଟ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲାଣି କଣ ନା ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଖାଲି କଣ ମୁଁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ମାନେ କଣ ଖାଲି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ମୁଁ ଏବେ ଅଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଲିଆନ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ମୁଁ ଆମେରିକାନ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ତେଣୁ ମୋ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ହଉଛି ଇଟ୍ସ ସ୍ପ୍ରେଡ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ ଇଟ୍ ହାଜ ସ୍ପ୍ରେଡ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ଦ ରୁଟ୍ସ ଅଫ ଦ banyan tree globally but এটা ଏତେ ବି ଆମେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ନେସନ ଷ୍ଟେଟ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଟାକୁ ନିଜ ଠାରୁ ଦୂରେଇ ଦେଇ ପାରିବାନି the idea would still be there so you will see that ନେସନ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ର ସବୁବେଳେ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଫର୍ମେସନ ସହିତ ଗୋଟେ ବହୁତ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଙ୍ଗ ରିଲେସନ ରହିଛି no doubt ଏବେ ମୁଁ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆମେ ଏବେ ଯୋଉ ଡିସ୍କସ କରିବା କି ଯେ ରିଜନାଲ ସବ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି that is important no doubt କିନ୍ତୁ that you are an Indian that you belong to this territory you came from this place ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ historical fact and that we cannot actually falsify ଆଉ ଯୋଉଠି transnational identity କଥା ପଡିଛି you will see that it creates a multiple multiplicity of complex phenomena because the complexity it arises out of their historical experience structural conditions केमिति इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस इंडिया रे कोन थिला सेई जगह रे कोन थिला से जगह रे तक से माने लैंड अप करले हाउ दे वर रिसीव्ड बाय द नेटिव पीपल से माने होस्टाइल थिले कि से माने तांको खुशी रे अडॉप्ट करनेले आइडियोलॉजी तांकर आइडियोलॉजी और मो आइडियोलॉजी सहित केते गैप अछि सपोज मु कहबी कि जे तमे एबे माइग्रेट करिकि बर्मा भलिया जगह पळाओ कि तमे साउथ एशिया रे आ गोटे को इंडोनेशिया भलिया जगह जाओ तमे कहबो कि जे हां किछटा कल्चरल सेम्बलेंस रहिछि किंतु जेतरे मु पूरा पूरी जाई कि माइग्रेट करी कि गोटे यूरोपियन कंट्री कि गोटे अमेरिकन कंट्री रे गोटे व्हाइट संगे तांको लोकंको संगे रहउछि तो देखिबे हमर बहुत कल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस बहुत द वे वी लुक एट थिंग्स ଆମେ କେମିତି କୋଉ ପ୍ରକାର ଆଇଡିଓଲୋଜିସ୍ କୁ ହୋଲ୍ଡ କରୁ ସେଇଟା ଭିତରେ ବହୁତ ତଫାତ ଆସିବ ଭିନ୍ନତା ଆସିବ ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସନାସନାଲ ତା ନିଜର ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଟାକୁ କେମିତି ଫିକ୍ସ କରୁଛି and that is the reason ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲି କି ଯେ recent generation ର ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ideological problem ଟା ବି ରହୁଛି because for example dating a boyfriend or a girlfriend which is a very common phenomena in India also these days ଆଉ west ରେ ତ it has always been there they don't have this concept called arranged marriage ସେମାନେ ହସନ୍ତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ସ ମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଆଚ୍ଛା ତମେ arrange marriage ମାନେ you will marry a person you have never known and you have never met and you are ready to stay your entire commit your entire life to that person how weird this is then when it comes to the younger generation ସେମାନେ family clutch ରୁ ଖସିବେ କୋ ଆଇଡିଓଲୋଜି ଟାକୁ ଟେକ୍ ଅପ୍ କରିବେ ହୋମ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିର ନା ହୋଷ୍ଟ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିର ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ବିରାଟ ବଡ କନଫ୍ୟୁଜନ ହେଇସାରିଥାଏ and that is the reason ଯେତେବେଳେ ବି ଆମେ ଯେତେ କହୁ କି ନାଇଁ national identity ର significance ଆଗ ଭଳିଆ ଏତେ ନାହିଁ but still at the same time you will say that somewhere it is still important actually migration କଥା ପଡୁଛି you will see that migration temporary हो कि permanent हो it is about a new destination ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ସବୁବେଳେ consequences of migration ସବୁବେଳେ you know पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमिक और सोशल टर्म्स रे देखा जाए सपोज आई नो इंडिया प्रति से जो कनेक्शन टा मोर अच्छी से जो लॉन्गिंग आई हैव दिस आई लॉन्ग टू बी इन इंडिया बट आई नो यू नो व्हेन आई विल बी देयर सपोज समस्ते कहबे तो इंडिया के ते झुरुची यदि फेरी कहीं जाऊँ मुझे जाके कौन करेगी I I do see that I don't have much economic opportunity there. So एठी मोरो longingness टाको मु suppress कर देबी. I will here talk about you know a kind of कि हाँ दूरରୁ ରହିକି ମୁଁ ପଛେ ପୂଜା କରିବି କିନ୍ତୁ दूरରୁ ରହିକି ମୁଁ ଇଏ କରିବି ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଡାଏସ୍ପୋରା କଥାଟା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି you know 90s ପରେ ଗୋଟେ ନୂଆ ଫର୍ମ ନେଲା and it was taking a transnational you say dimension you will see that you know if you know we talk about this diaspora community uh, we can look at four conditions that has been met first group of community that immigrates and settles beyond the borders of the nation state. इंडिया रे जाइए आउ कोठी सेटल कर देली किंतु मु मोर एथनिक आइडेंटिटी को मेंटेन करी आई एम कॉन्शियस कि मु गोटे इंडियन मु गोटे ओडिया भाषा कहबी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन दु तीनटा जनरेशन पर भी मो पिला जेमति ओडिया रे कथा ही परथा माने एमिति भी अछंती ना सेकंड जनरेशन परे सुनतरे आसीबे जेजे बापा जेजे मां संगे कथा ही पारिबेनी बिकॉज पिला इंग्लिश छडा किछि सिखि न थांती तेनो ए जो कॉन्शियसनेस तो तम भीतर केते अछि कि नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को तमे पास ऑन करछो मु ठीक कि भूल कहूनी मु कहूची केतेटा मॉडल हे पारे सेकेंडली एन एक्टिव एसोसिएटिव लाइफ केते एक्टिव लाइफ अछि जोथरे कि मु समस्त सहित एसोसिएट करि परछि थर्ड होची कॉन्टैक्ट्स विथ द लैंड ऑफ ओरिजिन मोर रियल फॉर्म रे हो कि इमेजिनरी फॉर्म रे हो मु केतेटा कांटेक्ट रखी छी सपोज रियली मोर घरे आ केही नाहंती मु ट्रिनिडाड सोसाइटी रे को जुग तळे आसीथिले मो बापा कि मो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स आसीथिले किंतु आई मेक इट श्योर कि अच्छा मो भाषाटा एटलीस्ट बंची के रहो जेते थरे भी जेते बळे भी गोटे इंडियन सिनेमा रिलीज होची मो छुआ मानु को नै कि सेठी सिनेमा देखौची तेणु एई बाटरे भी मोटे इमेजिनरी फॉर्म रे भी बंचाई के रखी छी इवन तो मु जानि छी मु जानिनी एक्जाक्टली को जगह रे मो गा थिला कोन कोठी की फेरी जिबा को फेरीवार चांस नै ओके नाहंती सेठी मु जानि बार ओके नाहंती से जो जिंसटा then fourth should be relations with other groups of the same ethnic origin spread over the world globally suppose मु ट्रिनिडाड रे अछि तो सिमिलरली कनाडा रो इंडियंस को संगे मो केते टच रे अछि मु काली के मु जेमति कहली कि जे सपोज मु जे पुओ बाहागर करबी कि झियो बाहागर करबी मु तो ट्रिनिडाड रा ब्लैक कम्युनिटी संगे झियो को बाहा देबिनी गोटे इंडियन खोजुची मु ना यूरोपियन को दबा को चाहूची ना मु ब्लैक कम्युनिटी को दबा को चाहूची इंडिया रे मोरा केही नाहांती कहले चले किंतु कनाडा रे किछटा फ्रेंड्स अछंती तेनु मु गोटे कैनेडियन इंडियन देखिबी कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया रे मोर किछटा बिजनेस पार्टनर्स डेवलप करछथि तांको भितरे मु देखिबी तांका कम्युनिटी कि हुए तो एमिति भी हे पारे जे से माने केबे भी माने कोन मु कहबी से माने केबे सपोज मु कहबी तमिल कम्युनिटी तमिलियंस आर अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड सपोज गोटे श्रीलंकन तमिल जे कि को काळरू से जाइथला माइग्रेट करके से श्रीलंका रे ही अछि किंतु अमेरिका रे गोटे तमिलियन जेतले बाहागर खोजुची से चारियाडे से नॉट नेसेसरी रे तमिलनाडु रे देखिबो से श्रीलंका रे देखि पारिबो से मलेशिया रे देखि पारिबो से फिजी रे देखि पारिबो कनाडा रे देखि पारिबो यूरोप रे देखि पारिबो सो दैट इज द थिंग तेनो से जो एथनिक ओरिजिन इट जेतले एथनिसिटी रो कथा पड़िजे लोक आउ सेतले को इंडियंस देखंती सेतले तमे काली के जियो बाहा हबो तमे सपोज यूएस रे सेटल करछु तमे कोन जो इंडियंस करबो तमे से हबो हबो तमे कहबो कि जे मो टिके ओडिया बाहा हेले बेटर चलिबो सेमती किंतु बीइंग एन ओडिया मो फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस ओडिया रहिबो हाँ सेमती नॉर्थ इंडियन यदि इफ आई लाइक समबडी इफ आई वांट टू मैरी किछ असुविधा नहीं वो फर्स्ट बट इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ अरेंज्ड और नेगोशिएटेड मैरिज then that is the preference then सेही केस रे एमिति फॉर्म्स नहीं जोठी की रीजनल किंबा तमरो सब नेशनल आइडेंटिटी ता आहुरी गोटे माने मोर इंपोर्टेंट हे जाय than the national identity there is the scholar Tambia who saw the origin of diasporic communities from two different sources. गोटे voluntary migration जोटा कि newer forms of diaspora community NRIs माने आछन निजे निजे आछो माने आसिया को चाहछंती ट्रेड करे कि कोठी चाकरी करिया काम करिया कोटे इनवॉल्युंटरी जोटा कि जबरदस्ती तांको नेचुरल कंडीशन से टाइम रो सोशल कंडीशन से टाइम रो पोज करिछि तेनो you will see that diaspora रे केते कैटेगरीज अछंती Jewish अछंती Armenians अछंती Greeks अछंती Indians अछंती जदि हमें ताकर कैटेगराइज करियो हम देखिया विक्टिम की रेफ्यूजी डायस्पोरा रे ज्यूज अफ्रीकान्स जिबे जो माने कि बांधी कि नै कि लोक पळौथले किडनैप करि कि तांकु इंडियंस भी किछि दूर जाई परिबे सेथरे कॉलोनियल डायस्पोरा बेसिकली इथरे इंडियंस रहिबे केना ब्रिटिश अमर रे मान सब जाईथिले sorry colonial diaspora रे इंडियंस रहिबे नि colonial आई एम सॉरी colonial diaspora रे जो colonial rulers माने रहिबे ब्रिटिश हेले स्पेनिश हेले पोर्तुगीज हेले जो माने अन्य देश को जाई कि रूल करथिले डच हेले लेबर डायस्पोरा जो थे कि इंडेंचर्ड इंडियंस रहिले जापानीज रहिले चाइनीज रहिले जो माने काम करिया को जाइथिले ट्रेडर्स सेतरे जापानीज अछंती किछटा इंडियंस भी अछंती चाइनीज अछंती देन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हाइब्रिड किंबा पोस्ट मॉडर्न जोटा कि कैरिबियन पीपल एबे माने आज जो माने कि आजिकार चाइनीज और इंडियंस से माने एबे गोटे हाइब्रिड कल्चर टेक अप कर दैछंती बिकॉज़ वेस्ट मु कहली ना माने वेस्ट इंडीज ता एते दूर थिला सेते इंडिया टू कि किछि कम्युनिकेशन लिंकेज सेते रही पारेनी आ हिंदी सिनेमा ग्लोबलाइजेशन तो आज का कथा से माने तो जाई कि 1838 रो बसी गलेनी सेठी तेनु किछटा मिक्स्ड hybrid culture they have put on, they have inculcated, even though you can say that they were Indians. So there are, some factors that is responsible for the growth of transnational community. And if you examine these factors, you will see that firstly, transport communication में बहुत easier हो जाए जगह अपेक्षा. Then increasing role of immigrants that they play in the countries of their origin by providing service to the migrants and their children. And then you will see increased importance of receiving countries, states in economic and political futures of sending countries. माने एठु किछि पाइबी आ सेठु किछि पाइबी किछि तो न्यूट्रेटिव डील रहबा दरकार देन पॉलिटिकल मार्जिनलाइजेशन जेमति कि होस्ट कंट्री रे जो माने गोटे मार्जिनलाइज्ड है कि माइग्रेंट लेबरर्स सपोज अछंती and then you will see that migration takes place within an ideological climate that favors pluralism suppose gote jaga जोटा कि बहुत strict जोटा कि बहुत repressive सेमती जगह को माइग्रेशन बेसी होबनी अनलेस सेटा अकोमोडेट कर जे सपोज म कहबी कि तमे जाई कि चाइना रे माइग्रेट करो Chinese, we have a different opinion for China. Chinese is not that democratic. I don't mean both लोग migrate करके they feel very happy about China. But amount of perception अच्छी ना when you say that अच्छा अमेरिका जीवो कि चाइना जीवो चाइना टा उठे जीवा देश we will go to America. तेरा कहीं कि अमेरिका ना अमेरिका रे से जो concept of melting pot जिए भी इमिग्रेंट हो तांको समस्त को हमें accommodate करि परिबो सेही आइडियोलॉजी टा अमेरिका रे अछि तेनो डिपेंड करे जे से जो माइग्रेशन रो सिनेरियो टा से जगह रे कोन then you will also see that Cohen has examined some of the preconditions for the emergence of transnational communities. They include number and activity of non-governmental organizations, action of international associations like Amnesty International, Greenpeace, किंवा membership in supranational organization and number of populations that are directly involved with it. तेणु गोटे ट्रांसनेशनल कम्युनिटी डेवलप करिवार किछटा प्री कंडीशंस थाए और सेटा को एमिटिया ही थाए you will see so these could be some of the reasons indian diaspora कथा जोठी पढिला हम देखले जे से almost they are one of the largest diaspora यूरोप रे हला कि नॉर्थ अमेरिका रे हला and they are everywhere you find them everywhere and when you talk about Indian immigration जो माने एठी छाडी के डिस्टेंट लैंड को जाई छंती नॉर्मली हमें ताको चारिटा कैटेगरी चारटा पैटर्न्स ऑफ माइग्रेशन रे डिवाइड कले गोटे हला प्री कॉलोनियल माइग्रेशन कॉलोनियलिज्म पूर्व जो माने जाइथिले जो जेमति कि मु कहली कि जे ईस्ट अफ्रीका रे कि यूरोप रे से मैंने ट्रेडर्स हे कि जाइतिले गोटे अरिस्टोक्रेटिक फैमिली रो को राजा गोटे एक्साइल हे कि सेठी जाई कि बसी जाई छंती इटली रे सो यू नो प्री कॉलोनियल माइग्रेशन वाज ऑलरेडी देयर किंतु से टाइम रे माइग्रेशन बहुत कम होता ऑर्डिनरी लोक बहुत कम जाउतले कॉमन मैन ऑफ कॉमन then colonial migration जोटा कि which began in the 1830s to the British, French and Dutch colonies. Globally जो भी British colony, French colony और Dutch colony थिला, they used to migrate to those locations. And then you talk about post-colonial migration to the industrially developed countries. जोठी कहली जोटा कि हेला माने recent after 80s जेतरे after sorry 80s को 80s रे पढ़ी गला 65 पर अमेरिका और कनाडा ब्रिटेन एमाने तांको पॉलिसी चेंज करले after post world war because they wanted high skilled and semi skilled professionals so से जो industrially developed countries को आउ तापर 90s पर आ गोटे वेव कला in terms of software engineers सेटा होची post colonial migration और रिसेंट माइग्रेशन वेस्ट एशिया जोटा कि नॉर्मली जो टेम्पररी कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल वर्कर्स जानती ए जो ऑयल रिच नेशंस रे काम करिया पे सो यू विल सी दैट आई मीन दैट ऑलरेडी मैंने डिस्कस करछे आई विल नॉट गो इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट we will come to the regional diaspora dimension कि हमें काहे केते जोठी नेशनल आइडेंटिटी कथा पड़िছে सेठी हमें एते रीजनल आइडेंटिटी विषय रे हमें काहे केते डिस्कस करछे व्हाई डू वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट दिस सब नेशनल रीजनल आइडेंटिटीज I told you the reason because we were we as Indians we are not one ethnic group Indians कहले अच्छा तुम यदि कहबो you are trying to enter you are abroad you are somewhere in America suppose and somebody is asking you to introduce himself or herself तमे यदि गोटे यूरोपियन को निजो को इंट्रोड्यूस करूछो तमे कहबो कि जे you are from which place तमे कहलो from India maybe से सेतरे खुशी हे जिवो but somebody who knows India टिके better से कहबो which part of India कि बेसिकली which part of India कहले ईस्ट की वेस्ट की नॉर्थ की साउथ से टिके जानिया को चाहूची तमरो लिंग्विस्टिक आइडेंटिटी ऊपर यदि तमे आ गोटे फेलो इंडियंस को तमरो आइडेंटिटी दोउछो से सीधा पचार देबे तमे पंजाबी ना गुजराती तमे को कास्ट रो अच्छा एटा तमर सरनेम तो तमे एई कास्ट रो हिथिबो तमे एई ये रो हिथिबो तनो ए जो मल्टीपल आइडेंटिटी कथा कहिली एटा बहुत इंपोर्टेंट होची फॉर दिस डायस्पोरिक कम्युनिटीज बिकॉज़ इंडिया ता हमें खाली इंडियंस बोली रिप्रेजेंट करू जने सपोज मते देखेला गोटे आड की फोटो देखेला कि जे दिस इज अ इंडियन वेडिंग वो देखले दैट वाज अ पंजाबी वेडिंग वो कहना ना हमर इंडिया रे एग्जैक्टली सब वेडिंग एंती वेनी एंड इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट दैट पर्सन वाज अ न्यूजीलैंडर एंड it was very difficult for me to make him understand कि हमर एतिकटा स्टेट था स्टेट माने भी से माने बुझी पानी बिकॉज़ तांको पे स्टेट एतेडे सपोज अमेरिका रे मु कहबी 50 टा स्टेट अछि 50 टा स्टेट थिले भी तांकर मोर और लेस पीपल आर सेम बट हमें एतिकटा भाषा कहूछु एतिकटा ये कहूछु वेडिंग सेते प्रकार रो हे पारे खाइबाटा भी इंडियन खाइबा कहले खाली तंदूरी चिकन नो है there are so many things to it कि खाली करी नो है so that is the thing, you know, when you talk about this linguistic, regional, kimba caste, kimba these traditional diaspora, that becomes important because of certain traditional practices of pertaining to your language, pertaining to your religion, your marriage. For example, tomorrow if you settle abroad, say in Europe, somewhere in Europe, तम छुआ मानू तमे आगो ओडिया पढ़ाया को चेष्टा करिवो ना आगो हिंदी पढ़ाया को चेष्टा करिवो it's my personal question to you, any one of you. What would you answer? Yes, you can say or you can just write it. Okay, you don't want to talk. Okay, leave it then. So the thing is that, you know, in that context, suppose मते के पचारथांदा मु कहथांती हां जेतु मु ओडिसा रे पढिछि मु एते ओडिया भाषा रे कहूछि ये कहूछि मु टिके ओडिया पढिया को चेष्टा करिवि आ हिंदी तो जेमति हेले सिना फिना देखि आजि काली माने पिला माने हिंदी भाषा शिखी जिबे किछि बड़ कथा सेथरे नाही हमहु के हिंदी सिखेइतला हम तो टीवी देखिकी हिंदी सिनेमा देखि शिखिगलु ना पिला माने सेम शिखि जिवेनी सिनेमा देखिकी बट ओडिया टिके पढ़ेवा दरकार बाहर रही गले से माने घरे आ कथा हे परिबेनी काली के जेतले मु इंडिया मु नै कि जिबि छुआ मान मो पेरेंट्स को संगे देखा करेबी जेजेपा जेजेमा संगे कथा हे पर नथिबे so that is how you know your linguistic regional identity becomes important. Now talking about the Punjabi diaspora we will try to make a mention of Punjabi. Punjab word आपन text रे देखिबे जे पंज माने 5 अब माने water the land of five rivers हमें कहूँ जेटा कि गुरमुखी स्क्रिप्ट से या तमाने है and nearly 60% ସେମାନେ Sikhism follow କରନ୍ତି and if you look at migration trends in Punjab it 1840s ରେ ହିଁ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହୋଇଯାଇଥିଲା and there were many people that were migrating to the US and UK and during the next half century you know the benefits of economic development were exhausted due to rapid demographic growth बहुत population बढ़िଥିଲା famines ही चलथिला agriculture ରୁ ସେତିକି ମାନେ outcome मिलू नथिला and that is the reason you know they started migrating and as I told you you know some of them were compelled to you know migrate under the influence of certain economic and social forces and during 1860s Punjabis they took up this colonial labor migration force and when British recruited labor for Ugandan railway project, it was mostly Punjabis they were trying to prefer because they are stout, they are strong, they are healthy, बहुत कामों परिपरिवे. That was the perception. And migration of Punjabis to East African countries gained momentum during the end of the 19th century when several thousand craftsmen, primarily from Ramgarhia or Jalandhar region, they migrated to that place. After the construction work was over, only few workers actually returned home, while majority stayed there to work for the railway. And not many Punjabis continued to work under the indentured labor system since they found, they were temperamentally not suited to be slaves. ସେମାନେ ଆଉ କିଛି entrepreneurship ନେଇ ଗଲେ କି ଆଉ କୋ ଜାଗାରେ ଚାକିରି କଲେ ସେମାନେ ଆଉ ସେଇ labor କାମରେ ନିଜ continue କଲେନି. So describing the conditions of Punjabi workers in plantations, there is this reference of Darshan Singh Tatla, which has been mentioned in your textbook. That the first few hundred Punjabis who were recruited were so unsuitable by the planters in West Indies who protested that these Punjabi migrants were very objectionable as field laborers. Many absconded to the Spanish Main, refused to work in the fields, and nearly all have been unruly and troublesome. So they didn't listen to anyone, they were highly unruly. Now, in the threshold of 21st century, Punjabis could be found in every corner of the world and they have entered every sphere of work. And today you will see that, if you make a comparison to the pre-independence period where immigration was towards US, Australia, East Africa, UK, you will see that today Punjabis, they are everywhere. In fact, in Europe, in Southeast Asia, everywhere. And they have their own association and the transnational network of Punjabis is really strong because they tend to uphold their social network or family ties or kinship ties through these network system. And they have their marriage ceremonies, their ritual activities. It goes on, and it's the overseas Punjabis who retain their kinship relationship to the contacts with the families back home. But mostly, you will see that as I told you, that family today is not a localized concept. Family is not something that that is there in my village. So I have this idea of a transnational family. Again, trying to draw upon the planetary concept of Rabindranath Tagore. So you will see that the frequency of social contacts that is exchanged through home visitations and sometimes they would be visiting quite frequently. And marriage is always an important institution for the Punjabis in order to sustain the ethnic bond. For exchange of rights or for attending the marriage of somebody from among their relatives. So you will see that you know the Punjabis, they choose their marriage partners not only with their respective place of residence but from homeland and other countries. So now marriage partners are chosen across different continents. You have matrimonial advertisements in the newspaper, in the internet, and this idea of this located family system, they're quite easy with it. And Punjabi music, Punjabi food, the entire West is mad about it. The rich cultural heritage, the common language, and the strong sense of Punjabi binding that works as a bonding for this ethnic Indians, ethnic Punjabis to be more specific. And now there are many transnational TV and radio channels like Punjabi Radio, then Live 365. There are many, Montreal, Canada, Radio Sikh Info. So these are some of these channels and satellites, and Punjabi movies, videos. They are really going strong transnationally. It's not that when we look at these Punjabi albums, I mean, एमती मने मने भाबुथुआ छे एबा किए देखुची hello, please mute your microphone. So whenever you look at these albums, we have this feeling here who actually buys this Punjabi album. But it's not only in the states of Punjab. Normally, ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ Punjabi album ବାହାରୁଛି, ତମର national channels ଗୁଡାକରେ advertisement ଦେଖଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ? You will not see the same for a Odia album or a Bengali album. Please mute your microphones. It's causing disturbance. Yeah, thank you. So when I'm talking about this Punjabi ethnic group, and best example is this sale of albums. ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ନୋଟିସ୍ କରିଥିବେ ଯେ ବେଙ୍ଗଲି ଆଲବମ୍ ହେଲା କି କୋଉ ସାଉଥ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଆଲବମ୍ ହେଲା ଏତେ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଚ୍ୟାନେଲରେ କାହିଁ ଦେଖାଏନି, କିନ୍ତୁ ପଞ୍ଜାବୀ ଆଲବମ୍ କୋଉଟା ରିଲିଜ ହେଲେ ଆମେ ଏତେ ଦେଖୁଛେ ଟିଭିରେ, ସବୁ ଚ୍ୟାନେଲ୍ସରେ ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କର ଆସୁଛି, ବିକଜ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ମେଣ୍ଟ ଫର ଦ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସନେସନାଲ କମ୍ୟୁନିଟି। ସୋନି ଟିଭିରେ ଦେଖଉଛି, ନଟ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ କି ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା, ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ମେଣ୍ଟ ଫର ଅଲ୍ ପଞ୍ଜାବିଜ ଆକ୍ରସ୍ ଦ ଗ୍ଲୋବ ଯୋଉମାନେ କି ସୋନି ଟିଭି ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି। So that's actually, that's the connectivity among the Punjabi immigrants. And today you will see that the remittance is quite high. The earnings that they take up and what they send home is also quite high. And same time you will see that they contribute in terms of charities also to education centers in Punjab, to hospitals, for schools and colleges. So one of the examples of this transnational philanthropy is the development of model village. See, and remember, if you look at the contribution of overseas Punjabs in the field of agriculture, that was actually the result of Green Revolution. Green Revolution during the 1960s, Punjab is successful ella. Amu jagare kahi helani? Because that was again the contribution of the Punjabi immigrants there and immigrants. And that's the reason you will see that you will find gurudwaras across the globe. They are everywhere, and that's actually a sense of Punjabi nationalism, you can say. It would not be wrong to say that it's a form of Punjabi nationalism. Now the other second most dominant community is the Gujarati community. If you look at the Gujarati community, you will see that settle abroad, they have migrated, during various stages. That was fueled by this epidemic in 1899 to 1902. Again in 1916 to 18, there was an influenza epidemic that took place in 1918 to 19.
And there has been so many, forced migration, because it was the circumstances that forced them to, take up migrated the job of migrated laborers, and they were always, in a state of perennial problem. So they started migrating to East African countries, and they were everywhere. Like you'll find them in Nairobi, in Kenya, in Kampala, in Kenya, in Uganda, yeah, in Fiji, Zambia, Malawi, Zanzibar. They are everywhere, mostly Africa. And with the opening up, you'll see that global economies, they made again a remarkable presence in the developed, industrially developed nations like America, Britain, UAE, Canada, and other countries. And many Gujaratis, they moved to United States at the turn of the 20th century. Today, Pattidars form the largest Gujarati diaspora. Normally, they are identified with the surname of Patels, followed by Lohanas of Saurashtra, and they are referred to as Baniyas. So, normally we say that okay, Gujarati as a Baniya. Baniya is, they have excellent trading skills. And many countries like USA, UK, Canada, Caribbean, where Gujarati have become very successful, and they have they are one of the affluent South Asian among the South Asian settlers. They are one of the most affluent communities, and now they form a prominent part of the Indian diaspora community. If you talk about again the linkages, both micro and macro, you will see that at the micro level, the transnational linkage among the Gujaratis, it can be looked at from 2 points of view. First, the ties between the Gujarati in India with their relatives in other parts of the world, and secondly, the mutual contacts between Gujaratis living all over the world. So, you know, it's like they have been connected to everyone. They're connected with their relatives in other parts of the world also, not only just in India. And at the same time, they contain, they have mutual contacts between Gujaratis living all over, because basically this is a business community. These are trading communities, and for them networking is very important. So every Gujarati, would be trying to know another Gujarati from another country or another place, so that they can look for some kind of networking that will help them in business or in any kind of socio-cultural activity. So that is how at a micro level, they have this connecting trait. It's a trait. As a community, they have developed this trait. And at the macro level, you have many international institutional organizations, as you have among the Punjabis. So it's same for them also. And Gujaratis, world over, they are distinctly known for maintaining vegetarianism. Even if they have settled in the West for say 100 or 200 years, they still maintain vegetarianism, most of them. And they have a rich tradition of performing arts and customs. And Dandiya is very popular among the Westerners. And now Navratri, for example, it has also become the music that is played there. It has become very important. And now, with this virtual space, this virtual community is coming up. They have been able to connect in a more intimate way. And again, they have many transnational networking systems. Then, talking about the next important diaspora community from South India is the Telugus. So, if you look at Telugus, mostly they migrated. Uh, there are several factors, both push and pull factors, that was responsible for their migration. Uh, One was natural calamities like famine and flood. Then, the shrinking cottage industry in India, increase in population, lack of employment, lack of resources, it forced them to migrate. And it was mostly the British plantation areas that they migrated to, especially to countries like Fiji, Malaysia, South Africa, Mauritius, in order to escape starvation and death. And when they migrated to South Africa, Fiji, and Mauritius, you see that. they started working in these tea and coffee plantations of Ceylon and rubber plantations in Malaysia, chiefly through the Kangani system of the mastery system of labor that I was talking about a few classes before. And among the immigrants recruited as plantation laborers, you will see many unskilled laborers from the untouchable castes of Telugu and Tamil origin. They made it to those sites. And if you look at the transnational aspect networking uh, part, you will see again in today's times, they, in comparison to the past, they have been able to maintain a good relationship with kin and kith because of improvement in communication technology like telephone, internet. And these technological development, they have now reached, what we say the virtual community. Today, traditionally, marriages were performed among close relatives in accordance with customs followed by the community. And at present, marriages among Telugus may be found binding two families transnationally. So, even if they don't find a near relative, transnationally they find the partner, and Telugu communities world over has now managed to keep the cultural continuity through the marriage practices. They generally prefer to arrange the marriage for the son and daughter. And now internet matrimonial sites, they have become a good avenue for these. And some of the cultural symbols like Kuchipudi dance or Pothyampallu handloom sarees, Kalamkari paintings and Kalamkari sarees, they have they have a transnational appeal today. And then again, you have festivals like Makar Sankranti, Sivaratri, Ganesh Chaturthi, Diwali, which are celebrated with more. And then channels like Gemini TV, ETV, which really has a transnational, reach. And then that's it. These are some of the important transnational communities that we discussed. And next, I will try to take up the most, you know, important theme, that is, it's important because, when I'm talking about this diaspora community, it wouldn't have been possible without, the present form that the diaspora community took. It was only because of globalization. And globalization is actually an approach. It's not just a one phenomenon or a one event. It has changed our very perspective of looking at things. There are few concepts that's already given in your book, that is, we mostly call GNT, that is globalization, nationalism, and transnationalism. There are three processes of phenomena which are at different stages of growth and at varying dimensions. Nationalism is a old concept. That's a part of you know the onset of modernity that I was talking to you about in the first class. Globalization, in the recent years has unleashed this phenomena of transnationalism, and all the three phenomena have an interrelationship, a problematic interrelationship, and the gap between the popular and the real working, thesis, there is some problem. Again, if you look at your textbook, you will see that they have made a reference to the historical engagement between the home country and the host country through certain processes, what Arjuna Badurai calls ethnoscapes, that is, a world of imagined identities manufactured by media and its own fancy. So there, here you have this diaspora or national experience, transnational experience in their host countries, and it is again, they're imagining that okay, they're Indians, and as Indians, we all share some commonality.
So basically, it is a matter of imagination, which may not be real, but it has been, it has been provided a very strong base with the help of Hindi cinema, with the help of, the new technology, and it's again weaving a new sort of an imagined communities, which is taking place on the virtual world mostly. So if you're talking about again, this idea of nationalism, mm, we have seen cross-border movements rise of this transnational identity. Uh, Nationalism, as we mentioned earlier, that it's loosening, it's getting slack. The reason could be, the presence of regionalism, the presence of transnationalism, but at the same time, you will always see that whenever there is an incident, suppose you will see that, okay, some Indians were attacked in North America, and almost, Indians across the globe, they will develop this nationalistic feeling, or there is a cricket match. So this would come up once again. So it's always there. So it's very difficult to say that, nationalism is something of the past generation, or it doesn't exist in the age of globalization. It would be wrong to say that. So there is a example in your text which says that, how does one explain the Indo-Pakistan cross-terrorism while India and Pakistan are unitedly taking positions against cricket umpire Hare's decision on ball tampering by Pakistani team. So, there are common platforms where you come up as South Asian, and at the same time you'll be attacking each other. So, and when you are a transnational migrant, you have dislocated yourself from your homeland, and say you have relocated yourself in America or Europe. When it comes to cultural, what you say, similarity, our cultural similarity is close with a Pakistani or a Bangladeshi than with a European. So even if you would say a Pakistani to be our arch rival when in India, but when there and in person you meet a Pakistani, you feel that it's much easier to live with a Pakistani than with a European. So, after 9/11, the very idea of war on terror that triggered this anti-Islamic perception in the West, and the fact that Indian Muslims are in they are actually, they are in the same category of Islamic nations, and they were probably the only ones who lived in and cherished a democratic setup. So if you see, the very communal agenda of the so-called Indian Muslim leadership, either it would be, they would be defying the Vande Mataram or support Pakistan in cricket match, and can only be defeated by purposeful nationalist attitude. So, what I'm trying to say that is, apart from this anti-Islamic, what do you say, perception or fervor that existed after the 9/11, and they were, at the same time fanatic Hindus and fanatic Muslims who were having their own agendas, but somewhere there was a very idea of Indianness or the South Indian community that bound them together. That interconnectivity was maintained, and what the most scholars they believe that it pertains to this era of globalization. As I was telling you, the recent movie Street Dancer, it is about the South Asian identity. It doesn't talk about individual nationalism. So when you talk about globalization, you talk about the growing connections or interdependence of nation states.
and you try to say that it's a historical process that involves a fundamental shift or transformation in the spatial reach, and because it's actually you are there, and at the same time the distance, it seems that distance has been killed, and it is actually linking up different communities together, or the same community across the globe. So this very idea of global connectedness is actually a new what do you say, a new era for the transnational community. uh, if you look at Kissinger's version of globalization, we would say that globalization will be more inclusive in the coming generations, and they will help the world's poor. Particularly, they will be bringing down the barriers in what you will have, towards the poor. And this was the promise that came in the wake of the terrorist attacks in 2001. So the survey result of the World Bank report in 2001 to the effect of global inequality has widened is correct, but World Bank's inference that globalization holds the key to social justice is only politically correct and not universally so. So you will see that there is a growth of joblessness which has resulted out of globalization, and at the same time, the insecurity. When I'm talking about terrorism, there is also a spread of insecurity. Okay, insecurity towards a particular ethnic group, and even globalization is responsible for the same, because it is with the help of the present day technology, the high connectivity that you are being able to have in the present generation. And when you talk about terrorism, I mean, how would we identify terrorism few generations ago? Terrorism means, okay, we were associating it with Kashmiri militants. Maybe they were, you know, they were some Islamic fanatics within India, or they have infiltrated from Pakistan. But today, the idea of terrorism is global. I mean, it's very difficult to identify them. They are the most techno-savvy, educated, persons. It's not that a terrorist is one who has a gun and who goes on brutally killing people. He is actually brainwashed because he is illiterate. No, he would be an Oxford educated, he would be an English educated, techno savvy gentleman who has this aspect as an ideology. So the very idea of terrorism as a global phenomena, it is actually a contribution of globalization and transnationalism as well. Because when I talk about Islamic terrorism, it's not that we are talking about terrorists in Pakistan or India. We are talking about Islamic terrorists across the globe who have maintained this connectivity. So, you need to put a bomb in Kashmir. The funds would be coming from Bahrain or Lebanon or some other Islamic state or the Middle East you are not aware of. So it has taken a global form, and at the same time you will see that the fear, anxiety, insecurity of unemployment that has goaded people to leave their homelands, and still globalization, with its when it's spreading its fangs, still these things continue. There is a no doubt there is a flow of capital, labor, job, and but at the same time, everything has its positive and negative aspects. Today, if we say that, when in the opening lines we talked about Arjun Appadurai's statement that he's talking about flow of scapes. Finance is flowing, people are flowing from one place to another, they're migrating, or there is flow of images, because images also, they are very important. Uh, because you have mediascapes, their ideas are flowing, you have ideoscapes, they're flowing in every way. So at the same time, terrorism is also spreading its arms.
because today it is very easy to transfer funds. Suppose someone in the, I would say, suppose there is a global support for Naxalism. So some Naxal sitting in a village in the interiors of India is being funded at just a click of the mouse, and it's very easier for them to get procure the arms and ammunition to continue their struggle. So as I told you that it has two sides. On the one hand, if finance can flow, it can also facilitate the flow of arms and ammunitions. It can facilitate the flow of drugs or human trafficking. Say, trafficking women for the purpose of prostitution against their wish. So these are also heavy, flows in terms of persons and workers. Normally, we see that globalization is different from internationalization, which is but an expression of growing interdependence among discrete but bounded nation states. Under globalization, the world is increasingly emerging as a shared social space. So there is a significant shift in the scale of social organization in every sphere, from economic to the security, transcending world's major regions and continents. Central to this structural change are twin features of unavoidable consequences. Revolution of information and communication technologies, which can trigger changes. And second is what Anthony Giddens has talked about is the abandonment of welfare state. And we don't, we have started India, in the case of India, the welfare state concept is still going very strong. But if you look at the West after the Second World War, there was discontinuation of social security packages, which were a part of, meant for the poor. And what has taken place is known as the Washington Consensus, which is articulated by another, developmentalist, John Williamson, and they believe that they have listed 10 reforms for Latin American economy so that they could attract private capital, and they can provide some support to their economy. And the neoliberal agenda for developing countries, mostly in Africa and Latin America, is known as economic reforms, the NPG thing that we talked about. But that reform is not sufficient. The second generation reforms were, introduced in the form of good governance, and good governance again is nothing but the imposition that comes from World Bank and IMF for loans to these developing countries. So there are so many threads attached, and in the process, the nation state loses its sovereignty. And you at the same time see that two continents where the performance rate reports of most countries from two continents were disappointing, whereas China and the East Asian tigers, they could manage to get the benefits of globalization. They tried to take up this neoliberal package. Uh, India, Brazil, Russia also counted some successful stories, but there are certain useful lessons that we need to learn and talk from globalization. One is deterritorialization as a phenomena. This meant that boundaries become porous and open with moving of goods and labor, bringing more laboring population from different sectors to another. And there you will see that again, if people can move, then other evils like drugs and human people for trafficking can also move. So that everything has its positive and negative sides. So we have actually enlisted 10 theses on globalization. Firstly, anti-globalization protests are not about globalization, since these protests are among the most globalized events. Take for example, the protest that was being taken up by the Niyamgiri tribals in Odisha.
They were in a state where they were trying to fight the nexus between the state and the corporate, that is the Vedanta, which was a multinational company. And somewhere, Amnesty International, an international NGO, intervened and fought for the tribals, and they won the case in the Supreme Court. So that itself says that these anti-globalization, because when we talk about this tribal protest, they are in some way, protest against globalization. But we shouldn't forget that the protests have been successful because of globalization. In order to fight for Niyamgiri, I don't have to, go there to the mountains of Niyamgiri. I can provide my support with the click of the mouse. Globalization is not new, nor it is just westernization. So you have to think that it's not a Western model of development that comes with globalization. It is more beyond that. And it has already enriched the world. You will see that there is a greater distribution of the fruits of globalization than the evils. And again, inequality is another issue. The primary concern is the level of inequality, not its marginal change. You will see appalling poverty and staggering inequalities because of globalization at the same time. So the question exists is, has globalization been fair to all? Of course, it will always be there. As I told you, there will be pros and cons to every phenomena, to every event. Then market economy is consistent with many different institutional conditions, and in the conjecture, the data can produce different outcomes. So globalization might have given some outcome in my society, might have produced some other in another. So you will see that the distribution of benefits depends on the host of global arrangements like trade agreements, what are the patent laws, how good are your environmental protection laws, what is the support you receive from the community and the state. So many things goes into this process. And now we have to accept one thing, that the world has changed ever since this Bretton Woods agreement was signed. And you will see that decolonization, human rights, NGO movements, uh, fights for environment and gender equality, justice, they have come up in a new form. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that today we are talking about a post-materialistic world. It's beyond material. It's just because of certain values, certain ideologies, we have taken up these views. Then you will see that both policy and institutional changes are needed. Global governance is changing under open leadership of the World Bank and the UN. But then again, you have third world governments who have been indulging in violence and waste. Waste is one of the major things in outcome. Then you will see that we have enough reason to support globalization, and but at the same time, globalization has to be taken with a pinch of salt. Then the next concept, which we have been debating again and again, right from the very beginning of your class, and that is the concept of nationalism. I told you nationalism is a product of modernity. The modern idea of nationalism emerged in the 19th century Western Europe. So, Enlightenment as a liberal conception of political self determination, the French revolutionary ideas of equality for citizens. Then, from Germany, you have this conception of a people formed by history, tradition, and culture. So, nationalism, has its principles of freedom, equality, collective sharing of history and culture. So, basically, I'm talking about this sentiment that a family of, you're talking about the world is nothing but a family of nations. And despite all, what nationalism is trying to promote is uniqueness of one's identity. And it has never emerged as an alternative to globalization. We cannot say that, okay, globalization is, it has
put an end to nationalism or it had reverted nationalism. No, that has never happened. It has been a part of this thing, and there is a relationship between nationalism and globalization, though it might not have been tense and free, but you will see that in some way nationalism has globalization has strengthened national identities. Somewhere it has created subnational identities. Uh, Eric Hobson, he argued that the old belief of a self-contained national economy has been substantially eroded, and it has been replaced by another nationalist idea, namely that separate statehood can provide the best means of negotiating a favorable position in the international market. So, it's just a feeling. It has nothing to do with statehood. So statehood can actually, in today's scenario, can bring so much of economic prosperity for both. And if you look at some of the statements by Adam Smith in context of nationalist ideology, he said humanity is divided into nations naturally. Each nation has its peculiar character. Political, the source of political power is nation, and nations can only be fulfilled in their own states. Loyalty to the nation state overrides loyalty. The primary condition of global freedom and harmony is strengthening the nation state. But that may not hold when he says that nations can only be fulfilled in their own states. You know, the case of India, scholars like T.K. Human would say India is so many nations in one state. There can be a nation without a state. For example, the Jews community, which attained statehood so recently. So, these things that we have been talking about in the context of nationalism, they cannot be taken in its present form as globalization is penetrating deep into every kind of society. And today you will see that the new global cultural economy that we are talking about, it is complex, it is overlapping, it has taken a new incarnation. And the world we live in is marked with ruthlessness, alienation, and at the same time, there is also this concept of global village coming up. So it is called a community that is caught in media scale, giving these perceptions, making globalization a reality. So when you talk about the relationship between nations and state at this level, it means that there is a battle of imagination with state and nation. As a state, I'm located somewhere else. I don't find that okay, India is my state, but India definitely is my nation. My state could be America, but my nation is India. So there is a battle of this imagination, this fractured imagination regarding nation and state. The confusion that has come up once again because of what you say, globalization and the twin concepts of globalization and nationalism interacting with each other. The third complex phenomena is transnationalism. And what is transnationalism? Transnationalism, it refers to a process by which immigrants build social fields that link together their country of origin with the country of their settlement. So these immigrants who maintain simultaneous presence in two or more varieties can be described as transmigrants. Transnational social field thus constitutes what you say certain family ties sustained through economic disbursement and through a system of legalized exchanges structured and officially endorsed by the home state. So when you have the migrants experience in different areas of the world, uh, you will see that it's a different phenomena altogether, which is unrelated, to the hyper-real situation that takes place in the web world. And there is this growing demand, to study this population, this migrant community, the dimensions of
their identity, and at the same time, there are many complexities that is associated with it. You have scholars like Nina Glick and Skiller, you have Christina Bland, who have identified 6 premises which are central to conceptualization of transnationalism. One is grounded social science concepts like tribe, ethnic group, nation, society. So when there is this phenomenon of transnationalism and the idea of territory is, evaporating, because when you talk about tribe or ethnic group, we always of the nation, we imagine them in terms of a territory. So how do now we look at these basic social science concepts within the framework of transnationalism? That is a challenge for social scientists today. Second, development of transnational migrant experience, which is linked to the global capitalism, how it has to be analyzed. Then transnationalism grounded in the daily lives, activities, and social relations of migrant. Also, it's a day-to-day affair now. As I told you, I am working for an American client. My boss is in UK, so for me it's not only on the web world that I have to traverse the transnational boundaries, but officially also I would be having a touring job where I have to stay at 5 different places in a month. So my entire idea of work, my idea of family, my idea of neighborhood and friends, they are all transnational. Suppose I have my school friends WhatsApp group. Majority of my friends are settled abroad. So when I'm chatting with them and sharing pictures of what they had, how was the day for them, they would be also sharing images of their host society. So this itself is a transnational experience. So I'm grounded in a multiple puzzle of transnational experiences. Then transnational migrants, predominantly workers, they live a complex existence that force them to confront, draw upon, and rework different identity constructs. जोटाकि मैं आगुरी भी कही सारी आम फर्स्ट इनिशियली डिस्कस करछे am I a national, I'm an ethnic Indian, I'm a racial Indian, I'm a regional Indian, को aspect of migrant identity विषय में कहछे. Then you have your reconceptualization of categories like nationalism, ethnicity, race, which again needs to be reformulated within the discourse of globalization. And now there are so many hegemonic contexts, both global and national. As a trans migrant, which is important for me, ମୁଁ କୋଉଟାକୁ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରିବି, global ଟାକୁ ନା national ଟାକୁ, କୋଉ hegemonic test is more important. And for example, if it is a third or a fourth generation migrant, ତା ପାଇଁ it would be a more confusing thing for that person. And at the same time, you will see that trans migrants, they reshape this context, uh, the ideologies or the what I say the context by applying their own context into it. And you will see that to some extent transnationalism is a product of this modern capitalistic, global capitalistic world. And again, their identity as a trans migrant is a contested one as to what the person himself wants to pick and what the people around him wants to denote him with. And when you talk about the global flow of class profile of these migrants who are normally, who belong to the lower sections in the society, and you will see that they migrate, but after the same time they create their own culture, their own class, and they're above that. The Chinese trans migrants have a small component of Hong Kong capitalist class, but the Indian, the Caribbean, the Filipino populations, they are all professional straight. They do not carry that tag of a capitalist class. So, transnationally, the separate identities, separate classes are being created every moment. They have their own idea of doing so. So, if today we are talking about deep research, we are talking about taking up a study with a transnationalist perspective, you will see that
we cannot study it without a global perspective. Take for example, I want you to study, say, any environmental movement in Odisha. It's not that suppose when I just gave you the example of this Niyamgiri tribals. Today you will see that okay, it's not a bounded kind of a movement ki se tribal mane sethi nije nije takar movement kardele. There was an intervention from Amnesty International. ତାଙ୍କର ଡିସିସନ ଟା ବୋଧେ ତାଙ୍କର ଲଣ୍ଡନ ଅଫିସ ରେ ହେଇଥିବ, ତାଙ୍କର ଆଉ କୋଉଠି ଡିସ୍କସନ ହେଇଥିବ ଆମେରିକାନ ଅଫିସ ରେ. So the entire idea is actually हमको local लगे भी it is not localized. It is always beyond territories. So that's the reason today as scholars we say that transnationalism or globalization, it's a perspective. It's a new perspective because traditionally आमे social science रे जो methodological framework रे society को देखुथिले, जो perspective रे देखुथिले सेटा भी काम दबनी. ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିଲି କି ତମେ ଏବେ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସନାସନାଲ ସିଚୁଏସନ କୁ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବାକୁ ହେଲେ ତମେ ତମ ସାମ୍ପଲିଂ ଫ୍ରେମ୍ କଣ ରହିବ, ତମ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସ କଣ ରହିବ, ତମର ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ କଣ ରହିବ, ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ସିଙ୍ଗଲ सोसाइटी सपोज एथनोग्राफी ଗୋଟେ मेथोडोलॉजी ଗୋଟେ सिंगल छोट बाउंडेड सोसाइटी को ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରୁଥିଲେ. ଏବେ ଗୋଟେ ट्रांसनेशनल सोसाइटी रे जोथरे कि मोर जणा नाही मो सोसाइटी कोठी कोठी हेई पारे, मोर यूनिवर्स टा केते हेई पारे, केते विभिन्न प्रकार सोसाइटी अछि. गोटे मु जदि इंडियंस को कथा कहूची, मु कैनेडियन इंडियंस को कथा कहूची, मु अमेरिकन इंडियंस को कथा कहूची, मु फिजियन इंडियंस को कथा कहूची, मु ट्रिनिडाडियन इंडियंस को कथा कहूची. देयर आर सो मेनी. सो को इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट रो हाइपोथेसिस ड्रॉ करबी बिकॉज़ इंडिया इज नॉट द वन इंडिया दैट आई हैव थॉट ऑफ. It's a thing of the past. Today's India actually lies in this very spirit of transnationalism. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can just come up with now. Any questions?
So learners, any questions to ma'am? As usual, you don't have any question. Any suggestion? Because ma'am has taken 8th class. So students at least give some suggestion to ma'am. How do you feel? How was the class? Teaching? How was the teaching? How was the
It was
course?
a week long, very interesting.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
We were thorough and simplified the structure very well from Indian diaspora. पूरा picture.
Your voice is not clear.
So, audible now?
It's not audible.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Sir, am I
Yes,
Yeah,
audible?
yes.
yeah, it's audible.
ନାଇଁ sir, ମୁଁ entire week ଟା इंडियन डायस्पोरा डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव से ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଆମକୁ ଏଇଟା ବହୁତ ଇଜି ହେଲା କି ଆମେ इंडियन डायस्पोरा इन डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट रे डिफरेंट ताଙ୍କର हिस्ट्री ଠାରୁ स्टार्ट करी डिफरेंट डेवलपमेंट ओवर द पास्ट 200 इयर्स माने ए पर्यंत केमती ଆମେ डिफरेंट डायस्पोरा रो कोन डिफरेंट डेवलपमेंट्स के ऊपर बहुत भलरे बुझेइछि ଆଉ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ମଜା ଲାଗିଲା ଏତେ ବହୁତ ସିମ୍ପ୍ଲିଫାଇଡ୍ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି.
Thank you. So, any questions, or shall we end the session? So, it was the last class. So, all the best for your exams or for your future classes. Thank you.
So thank you very much, learners. Thank you, ma'am, for your nice presentation. So I have some personal talk. I will talk you later. So thank you
Okay,
very
sir.
much for your nice
Thank you, sir.
presentation. So once
Thank you,
again, and
sir.
thank you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Four options.